Cbeebies Bedtime Story.
Oh, hello. My name is Rhys. I'm just practicing my moves. I love learning new dances. Whether it's the Viennese waltz or the cha-cha-cha, I spend hours getting the steps just right. Our story tonight is all about learning to dance, and it's got some dance moves in it too. I hope you've got your bedtime dancing shoes on. The story is written by our Cbeebies friend Mabuse and illustrated by Samara. It's called Dance with Oti, the Bird Jive. It was the first day of dance class. All the children lined up outside Mrs. Oti's dance studio. I'm Olivia, Amira, Theo, Ficule. I'm Ricardo, Martin, Milo. I'm Gan, Poppy. I'm Naira. Mrs. Oti was so excited to meet the children and teach them their very first steps. Welcome, everyone. We're going to have lots of fun, she said. Before we start dancing, let's warm up and stretch, said Mrs. Oti. Here we go. Jump up and down as if you're skipping rope. Do 10 jumping jacks. Lunge from side to side. Stretch your right hand over. Stretch your left hand over. OK, now it's time to learn our first dance. It's called the jive, said Mrs. Oti. Both hands up, both hands down. Jump to the left, jump to the right. Oops, Ficule was so busy looking at her sparkling new dance shoes, she missed the first steps. Don't worry, Ficule, Mrs. Oti smiled. Let's try again. The class jumped to the left, but Gan forgot which way to go. Follow me, said Martin. Now to the right, Mrs. Oti called. Perfect. Great teamwork, boys, said Mrs. Oti. OK, let's learn the next part of our dance, Mrs. Oti said. Clap right, clap left. Then kick, kick, kick. Poor Poppy couldn't keep up. Don't be upset, little one, said Mrs. Oti. Close your eyes and listen to the music. Poppy took a deep breath and began to dance to the beat. That's right, Poppy. Feel the rhythm, said Mrs. Oti. OK, children, we're halfway through. Now time for the tricky bit, called Mrs. Oti. 2 twists and 4 twists. Wiggle those hands. Theo twisted and twisted the best he could. You go, Theo, said Mrs. Oti. That's the way. All of a sudden, a beautiful green bird flew into the room. It flapped and flapped around the dance studio. Squawk! 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 Don't worry, children. I've got this, Mrs. Oti said, opening the window. Oh, Naira pointed. She had never been so close to a bird before. Bye-bye, birdie, called Mrs. Oti. But wait, that bird has given me an idea. Everyone, grab a feather from the dressing up box. The children laughed as Mrs. Oti began flapping her arms. Flap those hands up and down. The children squawked and hopped and flapped their arms just like a little bird. Mrs. Oti clapped her hands over the noise. Time to learn our next move, she laughed. Roll your hips round and round and slide to the left. The class heard a massive thump. Olivia had slipped and fallen on the floor. Up you get, Olivia. Style it out and make it look cool, said Mrs. Oti. Theo helped Olivia up. That's my special dance move, Olivia laughed. Great work, Olivia. Now, all of you, 2 twists and 4 twists. Wiggle those hands. Now for the last steps of the day. Here we go. Slide to the right. Kick to the left. And kick to the right. And pose. Well done, class. I'm so proud of you all, Mrs. Oti smiled. Shall we perform our dance for everyone? She asked as the families came in to watch. Are you ready? Let's do the Bird Jive. Everyone clapped and cheered as the dance ended. Look, Mrs. Oti pointed at the window. You were so good, even the birds came back to watch. The children laughed and gave a little bow. See you next week, they waved. I'd love to be in Mrs. Oti's dance class, wouldn't you? Maybe tonight you'll dream about dancing. You might be a ballet or a Bollywood dancer. You might be dancing in your bedroom, or perhaps you'll perform in a ballroom. But for now, let's do our warm down. Reach up, stretch your arms out, and let out a big... I'll be back with another Cbeebies bedtime story very soon. But for now, keep sleeping.